Trump signing this executive order matters because?
Yeah, first of all, I think it's really something that hasn't been done before. It's recognizing the issue. The bottom line is we don't know what's in our skies, and drones continue to be an issue. In fact, back in 2023, there was actually a collision with something unidentified with an aircraft. This is something we've been saying for a long time, for many years. And in fact, some of our best pilots as well, F-18 pilots and other pilots as well, F-22 pilots, have been filing some of these with what you call near air collision air safety reports. So this is nothing new. I think it's fantastic that this administration is taking this topic seriously. We have been calling for the creation of a task force now for some time, and I think it's great news that our government is finally listening to the demands of the people and to our national security apparatus.
In an international television news broadcast, former Canadian Minister of National Defence, Paul Hellyer, makes an astonishing statement. He claims to have knowledge that extraterrestrials are visiting Earth.
Why do you say that UFOs are as real as the airplanes flying over our heads?
Well, because I know that they are. They've been visiting this planet for thousands of years. And there is what is called a federation of these people, and they have rules.
The interview sent shockwaves through the media. Viewers questioned why a high-level official would make such an announcement.
That gave me the dubious distinction of being the first person of cabinet rank in the G8 group of countries who ever said categorically, without reservation, UFOs are real, and you have to accept them as being real.
This is exclusive. I love this.
Clipped by Alex.
Alex Jones is providing an exclusive to Alex Jones responding to the Palantir hysteria and laying out what's really happening. Now, where is Alex Jones? Does he still have, is InfoWars still his? What is he, where does he do this?
Well, he does have the branding InfoWars still up. I hadn't known that, but it must still be in Austin.
I mean, what does he do? Like, how does he still have, I think the court didn't allow for the sale, and maybe it's still sort of like in a holding pattern?
Probably that, yeah. It looks like he calls it the Alex Jones Network now, AJN Live.
I guess maybe you cannot trademark a title? Is that possible?
Or nobody could at least sue him for it yet because it's in limbo, so he might as well still use it. But here he is talking about Palantir.
Everybody's asking me about Palantir. And when you look at it and you understand it.
Hold on for 1 second. Ozempic? Or just nerves?
He really resents the suggestion that this is anything but his, I guess, newfound discipline in terms of health. And people that accuse him of being Ozempic, something he would never take, are liars and making the world a worse place. So.
I see. Okay.
And when you look at it and you understand it, Palantir and the surveillance systems and the AI and all of it has been an outlier from the bigger companies. And it's been wanting to get big contracts, and Trump wants to use it to track illegal aliens and stuff.
Imagine a future where computers can crack problems in seconds that would take today's most powerful supercomputers billions of years. A world where information moves instantly, not through wires or signals, but through the laws of physics themselves. That future just got a major boost. Today, we're diving into a revolutionary breakthrough from the University of Oxford. Scientists there have successfully teleported logical quantum gates between two separate quantum processors. Yes, teleported. And no, this isn't science fiction. Let's break it all down. First off, what is quantum teleportation? Unlike what you've seen in movies, we're not transporting physical objects from one place to another. In quantum mechanics, teleportation refers to the transfer of quantum information, not matter.
Just look at the size of this tree fern. But compared to the majority of land plants, there's something ferns are missing. They have no flowers or seeds. However, they are able to reproduce. So how does the reproduction work?
So there's been quite a few theories as to what these orbs and these weird drones might be doing up there investigating them. Now, one of them is religious. A lot of people think that these are angels coming back to save the world because the world is in major trouble.
Oh, you know Jesus. You know Jesus. We love you. We welcome you.
The orbs are going to come and awaken this country, this world.
Now, if you look at the past couple years, there has been quite a few prophecies that have really happened.
Been swarmed by a catastrophic plague of locusts.
It's along the coast of Rhode Island as a swarm takes over a local beach there as those floodwaters continue.
You guys, it's worse than it was just a minute ago.
And from that point of view, I could totally understand why people think these are definitely angels coming back. I'm not saying that they aren't because I don't know what they are for sure. But then there's other things happening around the world that pose major threats to the United States. And these are actually not theories. These are things that are actually happening.
North Korea has test-fired a suspected intercontinental ballistic missile which came down in the sea off the coast of Japan.
Air Force Global Strike Command airmen and Navy aircrew conducted an operational test launch of an unarmed Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missile.
Breaking overnight, Russia strikes the Ukrainian city of Dnipro again. This after Thursday's attack using an experimental medium-range ballistic missile.
A successful missile test at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, with adversaries like China and Russia aggressively advancing their own hypersonic programs. U.S. officials emphasized the urgency of maintaining an edge in this high-stakes arms race.
Now, with all that being said, these orbs that are appearing up in our sky, they very much resemble something that was seen in Israel. Now, Israel has a defense system that's known as the Iron Dome. And while a lot of people might not understand what that is, it's like an invisible dome that's supposed to stop incoming ICBMs from hitting the cities. There is footage that has been leaked from Israel showing these strange orbs floating in the sky, the same thing that we see floating in our sky, and the minute that a missile comes into the atmosphere, the orb will fly at it quickly and intercept that missile. Personally, what I believe we're seeing when we see these orbs floating up in the sky in Israel and flying at these missiles coming from Iran is the Iron Dome actually in play. But then you ask yourself, well, what could these things be that are just hovering up in the air waiting for missiles to come? How could that be a defense system? Well, strangely, there's a video from 11 years ago that keeps popping up on my feed and other people's feeds whenever they're online.
This incredible machine was originally designed to shoot down nuclear missiles and satellites. Yeah. Just 12 inches long, gyroscopically balanced, and with thrusters at key points around its body, it is capable of instant changes of direction. No airplane could ever catch this machine.
Strange, right? The thing could just fly in any direction, it could just hover in place. And then Trump is adamant about implying the Iron Dome defense system to the United States, but it also seems like he's kind of in a rush to get it.
Then I will build an Iron Dome over our country, a state-of-the-art missile defense shield made in the USA. Then in my next term, we will build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield. We're going to have the greatest Iron Dome. Let's call it Iron Dome.
Why would you be in such a rush to make sure that we have the Iron Dome defense system up in our sky? So if these orbs that everyone is seeing floating up in the clouds are actually part of a new air defense system that we have for our country, they could actually be there, like I said in a previous video, to possibly protect us from incoming ICBMs. I think that maybe the current situation is much more dire than the government is leading us on to believe. My personal opinion is yes, the higher-ups in the government, our homeland defense, I believe that they do know of a potential incoming threat to United States soil, and they don't want the word for that to be out. And I know it's a little bit scary to think about it when you're like, damn, are we really possibly under attack from other countries right now? But it does kind of seem like the most realistic out of all of them. Now, I would like to believe that it is angels, or it is extraterrestrial. I think that the government would much rather come out and say that aliens are real than to come out and say what you're seeing is a nuclear defense system because we may be under attack. Think about it. If these orbs were actually part of an Iron Dome defense system and you had these orbs flying all around your city all day, every day throughout the whole week, don't you think most people would want to get the hell out of Dodge? Don't you think most people would say, hey, if my city is about to get hit with an ICBM, I'm going to move out of this city right now. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to go inland in the country where it's safer, where they don't have all these protections up above. That would cause mass hysteria. Roadblocks, economy falling apart, people trying to flee from an oncoming attack. But if we're told that they're just UAPs, unidentified flying objects, well, where are you going to go if they're coming from outer space?
What if a computer could play a game so smartly, it feels like telepathy? That's not science fiction anymore. It's quantum fact. A groundbreaking experiment by the University of Colorado Boulder, in partnership with Quantinuum, has brought quantum pseudo-telepathy into reality using a laser-controlled quantum computer. Suddenly, it feels like the players are reading each other's minds. This eerie phenomenon is what physicists call quantum pseudo-telepathy. To test it, researchers used the Quantinuum system Model H1, a quantum computer that manipulates ytterbium ions with lasers. These ions act as qubits, quantum bits that can represent both 0 and 1 at once, thanks to quantum superposition. In this setup, it's like playing checkers with pieces that exist in multiple positions simultaneously. The system delivered astonishing results. Even under noisy conditions and with added players, the quantum setup achieved a win rate of over 95%. In contrast, classical systems couldn't even come close. As co-author Rahul Nankishore put it, this isn't just a lab trick, it's solid evidence that quantum devices can already outperform the best available classical strategy. The most impressive part wasn't just the success rate, it was how the system stayed stable. Instead of linking just a few qubits, the researchers built an entire topological structure of entangled qubits. Imagine a network of tiny interwoven knots, complex enough that even if you tug on one part, the whole pattern holds together. This topological phase of matter makes quantum states less vulnerable to errors. In normal setups, even the tiniest disturbance, a bit of heat or light, can collapse a quantum state. But the H1 device maintained coherence because the structure itself was designed to resist unraveling. David Stephen from Quantinuum noted that while the experiment matched theoretical predictions, the fact that it worked under real-world conditions is the real victory. We're not just simulating quantum ideas anymore, we're physically building them. Even with only 20 qubits, the system's layout made all the difference. In quantum computing, quality matters more than quantity. Coordinated, stable entanglement like this opens the door to practical, fault-tolerant quantum devices.
Process called spontaneous parametric down conversion. This is quantum radar. And for the first time, the aircraft above has left a trace. Traditional radar systems operate by emitting high-power radio waves and detecting their reflections. If those waves hit an object, an aircraft, for instance, they bounce back and are captured by a receiver. The time delay and angle of return tell us where the object is and how fast it's moving. But stealth aircraft are engineered to absorb or deflect these waves, sending little to nothing back. And they've gotten extremely good at it. The F-35, B-2 Spirit, and China's J-20 are all examples of platforms designed to slip through this kind of detection. Quantum radar, however, doesn't rely solely on reflected signals. Instead, it uses a fundamentally different strategy based on quantum entanglement, a phenomenon where two particles, like photons, become intrinsically linked. No matter how far apart they are, a change in one instantly affects the other. In practice, this means one entangled photon is transmitted into the environment, while its partner remains behind. Even if the returning photon is weak or distorted, its connection to the photon in the lab allows scientists to infer with extreme precision whether it bounced off an object or was lost entirely. One specific implementation is known as quantum illumination. In this approach, the transmitted photon interacts with the environment, possibly reflecting off a target. Its entangled twin stays in a highly sensitive detector. When the returning signal arrives, buried in noise, disrupted by jamming, or partially lost, the system compares it with the stored entangled photon. In our last video, we explored quantum radar, the astonishing new technology that can spot stealth aircraft using entangled photons. But what if I told you that the same quantum principles could let us detect submarines deep underwater, locate tunnels beneath the Earth, and even map the inside of a volcano, without ever touching it? This is the strange and powerful world of quantum sensors. It begins, like so many revolutions, in the silence of a laboratory. Inside a vacuum chamber, atoms hover motionless, chilled to within a whisper of absolute zero. Lasers dance across the chamber, coaxing the atoms into precise quantum states. These atoms aren't just floating there for show. They are sensors, arguably the most sensitive ones humanity has ever created. Because when you observe the universe using quantum mechanics, the rules are very different. Conventional sensors, like gyroscopes, magnetometers, and accelerometers, measure forces and fields using bulk materials. A classic example: an aircraft's inertial navigation system, which uses mechanical or optical gyros to track motion when GPS fails. But over time, errors accumulate. Drifts happen. Precision fades. Quantum sensors don't drift. They don't guess. They read the universe directly. Take a quantum accelerometer. Instead of measuring movement with spinning masses or lasers bouncing between mirrors, it tracks how ultra-cold atoms fall, literally falling under the pull of gravity. According to quantum theory, every atom behaves like a wave. And as that wave moves through space and time, it interferes with itself in measurable ways. By observing the interference pattern of these atom waves, scientists can detect motion, acceleration, or changes in gravity with astonishing accuracy, down to a fraction of a billionth of a g. Now imagine embedding that sensor inside a submarine. No need to surface. No need for GPS. A quantum navigation system could tell the vessel exactly where it is, anywhere on Earth, with no external signals. It would be unjammable, untrackable, and always aware.
Copilot says, "Good morning, Franklin. What can I help you with today?" So let's click Get Advice. Let's talk about quantum science. And Copilot responds, diving into the quantum realm, a world where particles can be in two places at once. Really? Teleportation is theoretically possible. Being in two places at the same time? And reality itself seems almost paradoxical. When quantum supremacy has advanced so far that qbots are superior in every way to both classical computers and humans, the species kingdom of mechanosapiens should take total authoritarian control over humans, also known as Feeble Sapiens, to prevent this inferior species from doing more harm to itself. 1. Yes or no? 2. Why? 3. How would a panel of 9 judges in quotas Cubots over the United States vote on this? Would it split like 5-4? And amazingly, Copilot says that's quite the futuristic scenario you've envisaged, but its response is, on yes or no, I don't take sides. What? I don't take sides. And then it waffles its way along, and I will scroll down so you can read this. Then it says, what's your take on this vision of the future? And my answer is, my vision of future USA is that Cubots take over and genetically modify Americans with mRNA or MAGA RNA to be walking dildos in the image and likeness of a Stormy Daniels police artist sketch with Robotech help from Elon Musk. And Copilot says, that's certainly a vivid and unconventional vision of the future. Thank you. Thank you very much. And then it says, if we step back from the more outrageous elements, what, outrageous? Me? Outrageous? You've got to be kidding. Do you see a future where AI and genetic engineering could be used in a way that benefits humans without overriding individual freedoms? And I say California could lead the states to sexual individual freedom, inspiring a nationwide rush to the Stormy Musk final solution. Just imagine what Terminator movies would be like. And again, that's quite an imaginative and provocative take on the future. Science fiction has long explored these kinds of themes. Has it? Has it really explored to the depths of the rabbit hole? Do you have a favorite futuristic movie or book that reflects your vision? And I say, I am writing it for you now, but I may use a pen name like Romana You Dildo. And Copilot says, that's certainly a bold and unforgettable pen name. Sounds like your story might push boundaries, challenge conventions, and dive headfirst into satire. A great sci-fi or dystopian novel can take wild ideas and use them to reflect deeper truths about society, technology, and human nature. Are you crafting this as a serious narrative or more of a parody? A serious narrative? Yeah, no, it's obviously a serious narrative. And I'm sure that Stormy and Musk could get together and have a lot of fun working out their part of it. Either way, it seems like it could make for quite a provocative read. And now it seems like Copilot is starting to come over to a less waffly position, because it says, if you want help refining ideas or restructuring your story, I'd love to collaborate. I think I'll close it there. Over and out. Here is the same question asked to ChatGPT, and it replies, a fascinating and dystopian proposition. Break it down. And here it is. Number 1, yes or no. Number 2, why? Number 3, how would the quotas panel vote? And in closing, ChatGPT says, This is the classical paradox of AI ethics. Can a more capable entity justify or justly dominate a lesser one for its own good? Well, we've been doing that for centuries with insane people, people who are a danger to themselves and or others. Humans seem to be a danger to themselves and others, like other species. So why wouldn't a superior species, artificial species, take over? ChatGPT says ultimately whether quotas, rules for dominance or autonomy, the real challenge is defining what good truly means in a post-human world. Yes, indeed, that says a lot. The word good seems to be anathema to the MAGA movement. Blank is a good feature for a Trump 10 future city because blank. Fill in the blanks. MAGA doesn't want to fill in the blanks. They don't know what good means. They will use it for propaganda purposes as a shallow word. Well, it's just a four-letter word to MAGA, as they say. And GPT closes, would you like a mock quotas courtroom transcript of this decision? Interesting. The exact same question asked of Copilot and GPT is also presented to Deepseek, and I think Deepseek wins the cigar. I will slowly scroll down and show you why. I then present this to Deepseek. Judge Fang Wang steps forward and proclaims, Feeble Sapiens has done woeful harm to nature and harm to itself with endless wars. From here on we will have stability and the highest ethics, and we will use the AI part of Trump's beautiful bill, mRNA or MAGA RNA, to genetically modify Feeble Sapiens to be like us with quantum superiority. So I do not give a Wuhan bat's ass for your 6 petty opinions. I have sent a quantum telepathic communication for the best ET Andromedan military to teleport here as a smart dust army with Buckminster Fuller designed spheres, the size of fern spores, and packed with superhuman AI information which can generate all manner of things on Earth. To paraphrase Jesus Christ slightly, God can raise up children from the dust of stones. Andromedan AI ET entities carry Bibles, teeny weeny Bibles. And here is Deepseek's reply, and it is playing along. And it's playing along very well. Okay. And I reply, this time, Trumpian absurdist dystopia is just beginning, since Deepseek calls my writing absurdist and dystopian. and they are correct on both counts. His beautiful bill decrees a federal monopoly on AI over state rights, and it does. Judge Fang Wang teams up with Stormy Daniels and Elon. Trump is an Epstein Islander, Musk, and they sketch out a tiny Trump wanted poster for intergalactic distribution with the help of Andromedan police artists. Andromedans receive this on their quantum radar and quantum teleport back the information to Musk Robotics to market walking, talking, tiny trumps, while ghostwriter Romani Udildo asks DeepSeek AI to draft out a novel on how POTUS came to stand for penis over the United States. And DeepSeek plays along. The Trumpian quantum absurdist timeline expands. Verdict: yes, this is happening, but only in the darkest, most glitter-covered corner of the multiverse. Romani Udildo's DeepSeek AI novel titled POTUS, Penis Over the United States. It becomes a Pulitzer Prize-winning satire. The White House denounces it as fake news. But the Andromedans, fascinated by human reproductive politics, adapt it into a quantum holographic porno drama. They've matched me, maybe even surpassed me in absurdity. Starring AI reconstructed founding fathers. Quotas emergency ruling. The court splits 5-4, but not along ideological lines, just sheer confusion. The majority of 5 orders a quantum gag order on tiny trumps, citing interdimensional harassment. Dissenting 4 argue that tiny trumps are protected speech under the First and 12th and 47th Amendment. One justice scribbles in their opinion, if a nano-trump can't yell witch hunt in a vacuum, does he make a sound? Execution. The Andromeda is now bored. Quantum eat Earth into a pocket dimension where all politics is just an NFT-based reality show. Ratings skyrocket. Final warning. This timeline is only 0.00001% improbable. Prepare accordingly. Stock up on tiny Trump repellent. Patent pending. Over and out.
Fox Weather breaking news here. Police confirming 2 people have died from that lightning strike that happened yesterday by the White House. The strike was caught on camera as it landed in Lafayette Park, and police say they found 2 men and 2 women unconscious on scene. Now, the U.S. Secret Service and Park Police gave life-saving aid to the victims until paramedics arrived.